For decades, scientists, communities, and others have awaited feedback from the universe. Now it has finally arrived. Did we really receive an informative signal from space after all? And this signal isn't in the radio range like the others. It's optical, which means that with the right equipment, anyone can see it. Thanks to which international program did we detect the unusual message coming from the distant Hubble star? Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence helped with this, a search conglomerate representing a collection of several scientific projects since 1960, focused on monitoring the universe for the detection of extraterrestrial intelligence. The methods of this program are diverse, and they are not limited to radio monitoring. For example, there are so-called optical search for extraterrestrial intelligence programs, in particular the laser search for extraterrestrial intelligence program. It detects flashes of light and laser pulses using a special optical system. And just recently, in January 2025, a star with the code name Henry Draper 12051 revealed itself in a rather unusual way. The signal was detected by Richard Stanton, a former National Aeronautics and Space Administration scientist. The star is located 135 light-years from Earth, and according to its spectral class is similar to the Sun. That is, it's a yellow dwarf with approximately the same mass and radius as the Sun. The only difference is that it's a bit cooler than our star. Thus, the star located in the constellation Cetus is not remarkable in any way. As of the beginning of 2025, it has not emitted any strange signals yet. How were they detected? The equipment recorded 2 optical pulses with a 4-second interval. The duration of the signals was extremely short, about 0.2 seconds. But during that short time, the brightness of the star decreased by 1/3. This is a significant indicator that cannot be caused by random factors. This is what that signal looked like. What is the nature of these pulses? If we rule out light diffraction from some asteroid or artificial Earth satellite, as well as gravitational waves affecting the specified star, there remains only one option: technosignatures. That is possible evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence. Unlike biosignatures, which are represented by certain molecules, for example, oxygen and other biomarkers, technosignatures indicate the activity of an intellectually advanced civilization, advanced enough to manifest itself through physical structures, electromagnetic signals, and other technological activity. This type of discovery is even more interesting than the molecules found in the oceans of Europa and Titan combined. So, the star Henry Draper 12051 emitted exactly this kind of signal, a laser pulse that may be used for interstellar communication. Can the appearance of this signal be explained by natural causes? Absolutely not. Since terrestrial interference is ruled out, what remains are stellar processes that could potentially occur on the celestial body itself. But this option is unlikely, since such impulses do not correspond to either flares or pulsations, which follow completely different laws. Moreover, most likely the source detected by the search for extraterrestrial intelligence equipment is closer to our planet than the specified star. Consider, can stars over 1 million kilometers in diameter truly change brightness at lightning speed? Is it possible to instantly reverse the explosion of a neutron bomb? Information about the strange optical signal was published in Acta Astronautica. Information for the year 2025. A more detailed study of this phenomenon is planned, for which several telescopes will be used. Their data will later be synchronized and analyzed. Currently, the Gaia telescope confirms that Henry Draper 12051 is an ordinary star, not a runaway or a star moving at extremely high speeds. Against this background, its behavior looks even stranger. But has the search for extraterrestrial intelligence project really not detected a single signal suspected of being extraterrestrial since the middle of the last century? All we have left is to settle for the famous wow signal. That's the thing. Before that, 2 optical pulses were recorded coming from other stars in different parts of space, and they were absolutely identical in terms of characteristics, which also leads to certain conclusions. In 2019, once again, thanks to the laser search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Optical System, short-term pulsations lasting about 0.2 seconds were recorded, during which the brightness of the star decreased by a quarter. The nature of the phenomenon also remained unexplained. First of all, the work of the optical equipment that studies the phenomenon, especially since it is not a single occurrence, is aimed at ruling out terrestrial or near-Earth causes for the appearance of the signal. What kind of star is it that manifested itself in this way? Henry Draper, 217,014. In common terms, 51 Pegasi is located at 50, and the previous object. It is also very similar to the Sun, just a bit more massive and hotter. Near the star, the exoplanet 51 Pegasi b was discovered in 1995 by Didier Queloz and Michel Mayor, for which they later received the Nobel Prize. The planet most likely belongs to the hot Jupiters and is located very close to its parent star, so it completes one orbit around the star in just 4 days. But of course, the planet's transit has absolutely nothing to do with the impulse we're discussing. It's far too insignificant an object to cause such an effect. Are you familiar with the saying, "Third time's the charm"? Now is the perfect time to remember it, because in May 2023, another strange impulse was recorded coming from a distant star. Undoubtedly, this is a solid basis for study because it's impossible to ignore such signals after they've been detected 3 times. So the same Richard Stanton, a former employee of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration Space Agency, under the Communication with Extraterrestrial Intelligence program, recorded an identical double impulse separated by a 4-second interval. 0.2 seconds. In other words, the signal's characteristics are the same again. The scientists spent more than 1,500 hours observing, but didn't find anything similar. The pulses turned out to be unique in their own way. Even without an astronomical education, it's clear that you can't adjust the brightness of a huge star with a diameter of 1,000,000 using a dimmer to make it dimmer. It's like trying to stop a speeding locomotive in a second. By the way, did you know that the developers of the Communication with Extraterrestrial Intelligence project know how to joke? In May 2023, the interplanetary station ExoMars, which is in orbit around the red planet, transmitted a signal containing a message that resembled something extraterrestrial. This happened at the initiative of the Communication with Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute. The nonprofit project was developed in Mountain View, California. Naturally, Earth's astronomical observatories picked up this signal, and work began to heat up. Dozens of scientists, from professionals to amateurs, set out to solve the puzzle. And by the end of October, the first results appeared. After dozens of computer simulations and mathematical calculations, father and daughter Ken and Kelly Chaffin deciphered the fake alien message. They interpreted the cosmic puzzle as a hint about the 5 amino acids involved in the creation of life. Here's what they came up with. What conclusions can be drawn from this experiment? First of all, the signal from Mars's orbit is much stronger due to the relatively close distance than the one that could come to us from the far depths of space. And even in this case, although several telescopes detected the impulse, only one identified it as extraterrestrial. So even if we receive a greeting from space, it's not certain that we'll be able to interpret it correctly. Secondly, decoding such a signal could take years, and that doesn't guarantee we'll fully understand it. We'll probably only be able to guess who wanted to tell humanity something and what it was about. Besides optical ones, what other signals from deep space has humanity received relatively recently? The news concerns ASCAR J18 320911, a mysterious unexplored object that breaks all known astrophysical models. This celestial body belongs to the class of long-period radio transients. The peculiarity is as follows. It emits not only in the radio range, but also in the X-ray range, which is absolutely uncharacteristic for such objects. The pulses are synchronized and last for 120 seconds with an interval of 44 minutes. The L5 data is located in the Milky Way, 15,000 light-years away from us. Unfortunately, the area where it is located is filled with dust and gases, which makes visual observations much more difficult. Most likely, it's a fairly compact object, about 20 kilometers in diameter. Its X-ray characteristics suggest this. Which telescope discovered the mysterious celestial body? From the name, it's clear that it was Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, a ground-based radio array observatory located in Western Australia. By the way, about a year after the initial discovery, in February 2024, the Chandra telescope also detected X-ray pulses in this region of the sky. Two serious organizations immediately took up the research. The International Center for Radio Astronomy Research and Curtin University. The results of the brainstorming session were published in the journal Nature in the May 28, 2021 issue. What other oddities does ASCAR J18320911 demonstrate? First of all, it significantly changes its brightness. In December 2023 and the winter of 2024, this parameter in the radio range exceeded that of most observed stars by 10,000 times. After this outburst, both the radio and X-ray emissions sharply decreased by 3 orders of magnitude. This is inexplicable behavior and a very strange instability. In any case, this is the first time something like this has been observed in the Milky Way. And what do astronomers think we are dealing with? Perhaps here, too, we are receiving a signal from an alien civilization, one that is technologically hundreds of times more advanced than ours. Some media outlets did indeed link these pulses to technosignatures, but most scientists still refute such assumptions. I agree. So what is this object, and why is it behaving so strangely? There are several hypotheses. It could be a very old neutron star, since magnetar activity doesn't last more than 10 to 50,000 years. Astrophysicists proposed this version due to the object's very strong magnetic field. However, there is a discrepancy. Over time, it should actually weaken, but in reality, we don't observe this. Besides, magnetars, like pulsars, emit in very short periods and are much less bright. The second version is a white dwarf from a binary star system. Supposedly, it was magnetized by the second object, for example, a dwarf star. But even here, things aren't perfect. Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder J1832-0911 does not behave like other system members. Then maybe it's the remnants of a supernova? Does the region where the object is located suggest such thoughts? Therefore, the third theory remains, which states that we are dealing with an entirely new, unexplored class of objects. The problem is that this may require a radical revision of cosmological models and will lead to the creation of new physics. We also shouldn't rule out the extraterrestrial origin of the pulsations. Both scientific theories and assumptions about technosignatures are equally unproven, so they are equally valid. In any case, the search for intelligent life continues, and its methods are becoming more complex and diverse. In the 21st century, they are radically different from the alphabet. Morse code, which was sent into space in 1962, and by now the signal has traveled 60 light-years away from Earth. Write in the comments what kind of radio message from space are you personally expecting. Let's be honest. The Hubble channel is eagerly awaiting fresh news from alien homunculi. More than just an AliExpress package delivery,